Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today, you saw him last season after he wrapped up his collegiate career with Lod Tech, getting ready for the NFL. And now he is off of his rookie season in the pros with the Los Angeles Rams, who went all the way to the AFC Championship. And this guy right here had some crazy highlights in the preseason to show why he is going to be in the NFL for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, 6'3" wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams, True Edwards. What's going on, True?
What up? What up?
Hey, excited to get you on, man. Saw that little clap right there. Got to hype you guys up with these intros. You already know one of my favorite parts about doing it because you guys deserve to be hyped up with what you're able to do. And you yourself have had such a career from the collegiate ranks. And now, obviously, your first year in the pros, you got to learn from some great veterans, be a part of a fantastic culture with one of the best organizations in the NFL, in my opinion, in the Los Angeles Rams. And I want fans, viewers that are just now getting to learn your name to get to learn some of the accolades and the history of your career in a quick segment that I like to call Resume Rundown, where I'm going to show off a nice little graphic showing off where you've been and what you've done. All Conference USA first team. When I had you on, they hadn't put it out yet. Literally the next day after we did the interview, they
Yeah.
came out with that accolade. And you ended up fighting through adversity, fighting through injury, and managed to make a preseason roster with the LA Rams and actually got to be on their practice squad throughout the season, giving them reps, giving them looks throughout the 2025 campaign. And last time I had you on, you were getting ready for the NFL draft. You were getting ready to get these workouts and show these teams what you could do. Obviously, you were able to do that. Unfortunately, went undrafted, but got to show a lot of teams, hey, I'm one of the top receivers you can get. As an undrafted free agent, you better sign me. And obviously, the Rams took notice of that. They did that. Talk to me real quick about that process and earning a spot with the Rams to be able to show what you could do in the pros.
Yeah, it was a long process. Especially that year. Was it 24 at just at the end of that year going into 2025 at the beginning around January, February. I was actually committed to Kentucky at that time. So I thought I was getting another year of college because Diego the Pavio rule, the JUCO players get an extra year, and I believe I actually played against him in JUCO, so I was like, oh, for sure, if he gets another year, I know I definitely got to get another year. So during that time, I was actually going through recruiting, and I didn't even think I was going to the league yet. I was just training and just staying ready, just in case they don't let me be eligible. So during that time, like before preparing for the draft, I was actually taking visits, and I actually went to a visit to Kentucky. A bunch of other teams was calling me too, and I ended up kind of blowing up in the portal. I had a pretty good season, so that time was pretty difficult because I didn't know which direction I wanted to go, and I sent in the waiver, and it was just taking so long. So after I seen that there was a couple teams that wanted me, like the Chiefs, Rams, Tampa Bay, a couple other teams, and they were only offering me contracts, no rookie like invites or anything. They was just offering me contracts. I was like, I don't want to miss this opportunity. Talk to my agent, and we felt the best was to sign to the Rams. So after the draft, which a lot of people didn't know I was in the draft because they thought I was going to Kentucky. Um, I just end up signing with the Rams, and I felt that was the best decision. And so far, it's been pretty good. And starters don't play for the Rams in the preseason, so um, played in my two games, went through injury and stuff, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. In this coming up season, hopefully it's a little different. Make this active roster and make plays like I know I should be.
Hey, absolutely, man. And you kind of mentioned it right there with the injury. You ended up missing that first preseason game against the Dallas
Mhm.
Cowboys because of
Yeah,
that injury. I believe it was an ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken. And
it was a couple. Actually, it was like so. It was a hamstring, and then it went to a quad. So this is a grade three hamstring. It was my second day. No, it was my first workout, I believe. So it was a grade three hamstring, and then went to a grade three quad. So I was out for a good time, at least about 16 plus weeks, because I missed OTAs and I missed all training camp.
okay. And so that actually leads me perfectly into this next question because I know of some players where unfortunately they got hurt and they were cut. They
Mhm.
were released from the team. You
Yep.
yourself, they saw something in you. They saw, okay, this is a guy that we want with our organization. We know he's going through injury, but we know what he can bounce back and become. Talk to me real quick
Mhm.
about what that meant to you to know that they had that trust and that faith into you and how you continue to battle back to get back in time for the last two games of preseason and be able to excel.
Yeah, it showed me that how much they were actually interested in me because I know they never even seen me play at all in person, and for them to keep me on the team and for me to still make practice squad after being hurt that long just shows um, how much they like me. So I actually only had one. I think it was one. It was one workout. It was one workout. I ran routes, and I guess just off that day, they were like, "Hey, I run good routes, or I was a little quicker than they probably expected, a little bigger than they probably expected." And just from that day, after how they just handled it, they were just saying like, "You're good. Don't worry about it. You don't have to overthink. You'll be back in no time." And um, right when I was getting back healthy, like I said, I ended up hurting my quad the next the next time, man, they treated it the same way. They was like, "You good? You'll be back." And I think they kind of knew because I told them too. There, I was like, I don't really get hurt. I never have an injury that will just keep me out. Even if I'm hurt, I can always play. But it's never something that would just keep me out. And I told them that, and they was just like, "All right." Came back and like I said, did my thing. Did I need to do?
Yeah, and you did that in the preseason against the Browns and the Chargers, especially
Yeah.
that Chargers with some highlights that we'll get into here in a bit with a segment we got to do last year. We are going to get to that in a moment. But talk to me real quick about that opportunity to showcase what you could do in the preseason. You get this chance, you go out there and you're giving it everything you've got to try to make the active roster, make these big time catches, get your team downfield. Talk to me real quick about what that experience was like for you and how you were able to execute at the highest level.
Yeah. It was a fun experience for sure. Really, I I would have never guessed that I would have had a game winning touchdown my first preseason. There's no way I would have guessed that. Just coming from injury, and I don't think people understand how hard that is because I rarely got to practice with the quarterback. So for Stetson Bennett, who threw me a touchdown, to trust me like that is just means a lot to me. So just right there, it shows me how much work means. Just stay working and just control what you control. But I feel like I said, every chance I got, I took. I handle it the right way. So, because even in I believe it was versus the Saints, like in a training in a joint practice, I also scored there too. That was like my first official like real practice. I scored um I scored my first joint practice. Then I scored my first preseason game, and it was a game-winning touchdown. That had a couple other good catches. One on fourth down and a corner route. So, like I say, it was a dream come true. But I know I can do so much more, and that's definitely just it's just a start, just a beginning to it all. Um, yeah, just so much more to come.
Oh, absolutely, man. Definitely a bright future for you. Obviously, the scouts and coaches, they got to see what you could do in person during
Yeah,
the preseason. I know you said they didn't get a chance to see you in college in person. Hopefully, they
yeah,
tuned into the Slim Sports podcast last season and saw the highlights from this segment we're
yeah,
about to get into called Make That Play. Because last
yeah.
year you had some great ones. This year you had even
Mhm.
more. And obviously, you know how this goes, man. I put together what I felt like were your top three plays from this past season. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm just a fan in the stands. I'm just a stats guy. You're on
Mhm.
the field doing what you do best, and you kind of alluded to it earlier. I'm guessing it's number one on your list. What is number one on your list?
Number one on my list play this year. I had a one play, it didn't count. Versus the Browns, it was a one-hand catch back shoulder. Nobody really talks about it. It was a pretty hard catch, but it didn't count. It got called back. But the number one on my list this time, it has to be the game winning touchdown. I'll say versus the Chargers. I'll say that, or I'll say it was the shallow before that versus the Chargers. It was a fourth down, and that kind of led me to getting to the game winning touchdown. So, but number one though, I would definitely say it would have to be the Chargers. It would have to be
Oh,
just
absolutely.
just because the difficulty, just catching it. I was a little dazed after two and got hit in my leg. So I'll say Chargers for sure.
Oh yeah, that obviously is number one on my list as well. Had to put that. I was
Mm,
watching that game live, and you are absolutely right. You did have a play earlier in that game that really set you up for that. Because at number
mm,
three, I have that route that you're talking about, the big first down that you had where
yeah.
you ended up kind of cutting across the field, ended up coming across the face of two different linebackers, and you came up. You knew those linebackers were coming in to hit you. You came up, got
Mm,
that first down right there. That's at
yeah.
number three. Number two, against the Browns was that
Yeah.
25-yard big catch where I don't know how you were able to stay in bounds. It popped up off the defensive back. You ended up just holding your concentration, tracked the ball perfectly while
Mm,
you're falling down, got your shin down, I believe it was, in order to make it a complete
mm,
catch.
yeah.
And number one, yes, that game-winning touchdown against the Chargers and
Mm,
that first down play before, after you got that one, I'm watching this game live, by the way. The moment you cut
bruh.
in at the front of the end zone, I knew they were going to you. Of course, they did. Right up there, you end up reaching up, caught that sucker, and through contact, the guy's tackling you while you're making this catch. You
Mm,
managed to land in the end zone for a big time touchdown, game winner against the Chargers. Ended up getting that 23 to 22 win against
mm,
them. And you ended up being a part of, like I said before, one of the best organizations in the entire NFL, and in my
yeah.
belief. The
Yeah.
Rams are just ran so professionally. Obviously, they
Yeah.
just had the MVP in Matthew Stafford. They have
Yeah.
so many all pros across the offense and defense. 12 and
Yeah.
5 regular season record. You guys had that 34 to 31 win against the Panthers in the wild card, 20 to
Mm,
17 win over a very tough Bears team in the divisional round. Talk to me real quick about what it was like being a part of this culture, a part of this organization with the Rams, and what
yeah.
that meant to you to really help you continue your career.
Uh, like you said, best organization it is. It's no doubt in my mind that it's the best organization. That's why I chose it. And just I would say just being around the veterans really on the team. I'll say even just watching how Stafford carries himself every day and how humble he is, and just being in a great receiver room with Puka, Devontae, even Jordan Winton, Tutu, my boy Monk, all them guys, BP, everybody, T Scott, X Man, all those guys just handle it so professional, and really too just watching Devontae how he handles himself. Like that was a receiver I grew up watching. Um, and my dad, that's one receiver my dad always told me to watch growing up. Just his releases and just how he just how he plays receiver all around. And to see how hard I think people would need to understand how hard Devontae works. Like in year 12 going on 13, um, like even just going in the weight room, like Devontae is like pushing weight, like real weight. Like it's later in the season, we're doing 505 on trap bar. Cause those are the dudes I work with. I work out with Puka and Tay, and nobody will guess they think Tay is finesse, so much finesse, and he is finesse, but he's also just he's real strong, and I see why he gets open, and just why he has the success he has. So just being around guys like that, and just being with a great head coach, Sean McVay, and just blessed to be in a position. Best coach I've been around, one of the best receiver groups I've been around, just growing up playing football, and for sure Stafford's the best quarterback I've seen in person. So
Absolutely. I mean,
ever
MVP for a
seen.
reason. And
Yeah,
McVay, I mean, he's coach of the year candidate every single year as well.
yeah,
Obviously, Devontae and Puka, those two are fighting each other for best receiver in the league,
man.
obviously, with, just such a great wide receiver room overall. Like you said, obviously, that keeps you guys to a higher tier, a higher level, because you
Yeah,
guys are all fighting each other, in
mm,
practice for, more reps, more catches. And you
yeah,
guys are just so distributed throughout the entire team with this talent. And
yeah,
you yourself, while you weren't able to compete in the regular season, being on the
mm,
practice squad, you were able to get those reps, work out with these guys, with
yeah.
Devontae, Puka, see how Matthew Stafford handles himself. How would you say you maximized those reps on the practice squad this year? And how would you also say that, even though you were on the practice squad, you were still able to make an impact for the rest of the team?
Yeah. Um, yeah, for sure. Being on practice squad, uh, it can be hard sometimes because you don't get the recognition that other people get. So that's why you just gotta stay focused. But we go against the number one. We go against the defense every single day. The ones every single day. So I took practice squad as a just I just took it serious every single day. And like I said, went against the number one defense. So it's just getting me better. And I felt myself slowly getting better each and every practice and just understanding the zones, just how to read the defense and getting used to um, catching certain passes and in certain coverages and stuff. And I also go with uh, Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's a veteran too. He's been to the Super Bowl, all that. So just learning from those guys, just trying to soak as much as I can in, and just watching how also Devontae practices, watching how Puka practices, and just understanding where the court Stafford wants the guys, and just just soaking all of it in. So, like I said, just I can tell a big difference just from the first practice I did and from the last week of practices, and you can tell like you can see it in my game how I understand the offense more, understanding the zones and just where to be and how quarterbacks like how you run a route. If you want to speed cut certain routes or you want to break it in, just understanding really just defense really, just understanding. Um, just getting smarter each and every day, understanding the game. So that helps a lot. Just take it serious. Just take practice serious every day. Meetings, you're in all the meetings, and just ask questions when you can. And that's one thing I also like about the room. Our coaches, we have real good coaches. They don't treat you like your P squad because you're on the team. You do everything that the active does do. But randomly, my coach will just ask me a question like, "What do you do on this play? What do you do on this play? How do you block this DB on this run?" And them doing that just helps me stay focused, and it just gives me more confidence coming in the next season, and just I know for sure I'll be ready. And yeah,
Hey, there you go, man. And obviously, it's always, like you said, practice squad guys don't get the recognition that they deserve. And it's always kind of put under the rug as far as what happens to the practice squad guys at the end of
yeah,
the season. Everybody knows Matthew Stafford's coming back, Devontae Adams.
mhm,
Obviously, you're alluding to it right there. You're, coming back to the Rams, getting ready
yeah,
for another season with them, hopefully. Talk me real quick
mhm,
about the process this offseason, what you're doing to continue to get better and as far as
yeah,
how it goes in order to continue your career with the Rams.
yeah. I would say in the off season for me, well, I rested a little bit so the season was over. But now I'm getting back to working out. I'm gonna hit the weight room, just come back the right weight, come back just everything I can control, I'm gonna just handle that the right way. And for sure get into the playbook more. So the more you can understand, the more you can learn, the more you can understand the defense. It just makes it much easier. It makes the game slow down. Uh, and so yeah, that's how I'm just handle the off season. I'm um just hit the weight room, just regular off season work, run routes, all that, and just understand the playbook. So I feel like that's the biggest thing for me, just getting the playbook because I missed all the OTAs, I missed all the training camp, I missed the first preseason game, and like I said, I still made the team. So the talent is there. It's just getting the playbook, understand the offense, understand the defense, and where the quarterback wants you to be. um, yeah, and I say that's the main focus this offseason and coming in healthy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
When you're at 100% health,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, you got some competition there for wide receiver one on the Rams. I'm just letting you know right now. And man, I mean, obviously you've gotten to play alongside some great talent, and this podcast, man. I like to get everyone's names out there. Obviously, from the college ranks, I've been able to get so many fantastic players
yeah.
yourself when you were in college as well. And I do want to expand a little bit more to the NFL, get some more NFL guys on. So I'm going
Mhm.
to ask you this in a segment that we got to do last year where you shout out some of your college teammates. Now maybe you can do it for some NFL guys, whether they're with the Rams somewhere else, or maybe even some of your guys that are still in college. In a segment we're about to
Yeah,
get into called Who's Up Next, where you can shout out some players that I can get on, get them to tell their story, talk about their careers, just as you're doing now. So who
yeah.
would you say is next up on the Slim Sports podcast?
Next up, I'll for sure say I'm gonna shout out my teammate again, Jimmy Holiday. He played with me my last year. He's on the Chiefs. He's on the Chiefs too. He signed back to the Chiefs, so he'll be there this coming up season. Also, I got to shout out a teammate, Brandon Presley. He went to Oklahoma State. It was him and me that helped win that Chargers game. He had that big catch where his helmet fell off and stuff. So I got to shout out those two guys.
Hey, there you go, man. Obviously, a whole lot of great names right there. You're all pros for a reason because you guys are dominant. You guys do whatever it takes to help your team win. And obviously, that led to the Rams' success this entire season. And you're
Yeah,
going into next year, your second year in the pros, hoping to be one of the best players on this team, one of the best receivers, not
sure.
only make it back to the preseason, but also make it to the main roster so you get some reps in the regular season. What
Definitely.
parts of your game are you looking to really enhance the most that you feel like is going to be able to get you on the field more often to where you can
Mhm.
go out there and get some game-winning plays in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, for sure. I'll say, like I said, just the playbook, get in the playbook, understand the offense. Just learn, just continue to learn the defense. Continue to um, just yeah, playbook. I say that playbook. And that's pretty much it. I feel like I can handle everything else. Like I said, the talent's there, um, size, speed, all that's there. So once I get in that playbook and just get the I want the quarterbacks to understand that I can make real difficult catches too. So I feel like that's my specialty, my athleticism, my size, and there's not a ball that's too high, too far, too low of a throw. Every single time the ball's in there, I think I'm gonna grab it. I know I'm gonna grab it. Uh, so that's mainly it. Just showing everybody that I can make those difficult catches. I can be explosive and uh just understanding the playbook. And once I get comfortable, I feel like it's gonna be over with. It's gonna be over with for a couple people.
Hey,
For other
absolutely.
guys I go against.
Oh, absolutely. Once you develop, that
Mhm.
ability to, with the playbook, like you mentioned there, and I mean, we've seen the skill set. I still remember that
Yeah.
highlight from last year with LA
Mm.
Tech, where you reached backwards one-handed and just ended up
Yeah.
taking off for so many yards. So obviously, the
Mm.
Rams see a lot of potential in you. Obviously, you have that potential to be one of these top receivers. I cannot wait to
Mm.
see what you do in year two.
Yeah.
And I'm promising viewers right now, by next year when I have you back on, we're having a true Edwards autograph jersey in the background. So
Yeah.
cannot wait to see what you do this upcoming season, man. Thank you, as always,
Yeah,
for
thank
hopping on
you.
Slip Sports Podcast once again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you for having me once again. And hopefully we can keep this going. And each year gets better and better. And then soon I need to become that 1,000 yard receiver. But it's coming. It's coming. So thank you again too for having me.